My dear brothers and sisters in the risen Lord, seventh week of ordinary season, Saturday. Train children in the right way, and when old, they will not stray. Ignatius of Antioch is one of the great saints of the early church. He was Bishop of Antioch and a disciple of St. John the Apostle. He had even written a letter to Mother Mary when she was living with St. John. He was condemned to death for being a Christian and put to the lions. Before he was torn to pieces by the lions, he looked at the crowd and said, "Men of Rome, know that my labors will not go unrewarded, and that it is not for loose morals that I suffer these pains, but for loyalty to my duty." As we read on the ecclesiastic history, he continued, "I am the wheat of Christ. May I be ground fine by the teeth of the beast, that I may be made a clean bread." There's a legend about this great and brave saint. When he was a child, Jesus had called him and set him amidst his disciples who were arguing among themselves as to who was the greatest, and said to them, "Whoever welcomes this child in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me," Luke chapter 9, verse 47 to 49. Later in life, this little child whom Jesus had touched and blessed became a great witness to Christ, not only in life, but also in his death. In today's gospel, when some women brought their children to Jesus, the disciples rebuked them. When Jesus saw this, he scolded his disciples. Let us note. Verse 1. The parents brought their children to Christ. The parents brought their children to Christ that he might lay his sacred hands on them and bless them. Imposition of hands was a religious ceremony and a way of paternal blessing. Jacob, the patriarch, stretched his hands and placed them on Ephraim and Manasseh, the two sons of Joseph, and blessed them. Genesis chapter 48, verse 14. These parents brought their children to Christ not for any bodily healing in particular, but that his blessings may bring about good health and bright future for them. Parents are the trustees of the children, and by virtue of the advantage of their age and their role, it is their duty to lead their children and form them aright. We must bring our children to Christ, as Anna brought her son Samuel to the temple of Shiloh, and Mary brought Jesus to the temple at Jerusalem. Second, Jesus blessed the children. When the parents brought their children to Christ, he blessed them. It was a scene of unspeakable sweetness and tenderness. It was unthinkable among the Jews that a rabbi of this stature would thus waste his time with the children. That is the reason the disciples objected the parents when they brought their children to Jesus. Jesus outdid even the expectation of the parents. They only asked him to bless their children by laying his hands. But he, in his tenderness, took them up in his hands and laid his hands on them and blessed them. May we be also be blessed by the tender hands of Jesus. May God bless you all. Amen.